Hey guys, how's it going? It is going to be a great day to get in the garden today, and I'm so excited. I have had so many plants show up, and this is just the beginning of plants showing up. And so I need to start making a dent in this because otherwise I'm going to be so overwhelmed this springtime with maintenance and planting and everything. So we're going to dive into it. I've got a bunch of things I want to get planted today. I'm starting to create a little micro hedge out of some Boxwood alternatives that I'm excited about. I've got some Brunnera that I want to get planted and just a couple other things that I just want to do in the garden, so that way when plants start arriving, because I have a ton coming, my life is going to be way less stressful, and I won't freak out because I won't know where to store everything. So let me show you guys what we're gonna get planted today because I'm really excited about it. So every year, this side of our property turns into where I hoard all of my plants. And you can see it's already turned into a huge hoard of plants. And so we're gonna make a dent in this today, a small dent, not a big dent at all, very small, but we're gonna at least start. So I have these really cool Boxwood alternatives right here that I'm really excited about. These are a Pyracomylese called Juke Box, and they're an evergreen, and they're supposed to be a Boxwood alternative, and so you're able to like prune on them and I don't know, form them into a hedge, I guess. And so I've got 5 of them because I'm going to create a little micro hedge to add some formality into the garden. So these guys will only get about 1 foot to 3 feet tall and wide at maturity, and they're not super fast growing. They want full sun, hardy in zones 7 through 9, and then they've got like a really nice glossy foliar growth to them. I really am excited about that, and I can't tell if all the new growth is going to be like a little light of a red color, like a very soft red color. I don't know. Boxwood alternative, they kind of look like a Boxwood alternative or a very small Boxwood, and they do like a decent amount of water, so we're going to make sure that these guys have plenty enough water. And then my other plant that I'm going to get planted today is these Brunnera right here. And I ordered 3 more Brunnera. I love Brunnera. This is the Jack of Diamonds. This is one of my favorite spring blooming plants. The blooms, I feel like they're like so underwhelming because they're so tiny, but they're blue and they're bright and they're really, really pretty. And I love the foliar growth on them. And I had started out with, I think I've got 2 of them or something like that, or 3 of them on the property, and they're scattered around, and I really wanted more. Everyone told me that I can't grow these in my zone, but I've totally been able to. They're hardy in zones 3 through 8. I'm in zone 9, and these guys get full shade. I don't really let any sun touch on these. They get about 16 inches tall, 24 inches wide, and then the bloom spikes will get taller than the rest of the plant. And why I really like them is I love the like variegation on the leaves, and I love how this is like a silvery color. I just think they're so pretty. Very, very interesting. They like a decent amount of water, and if you're in one of the lower zones, you can definitely plant them somewhere where they get partial shade, but in my zone 9, they need extra water and they need lots of shade. So I've got 3 of these guys to get planted, and then I can appreciate the blooms. So let me show you guys where these are gonna go, and then if we have time, I will try to make a dent in some of this. I'm gonna say these plants that are all right here are for these containers. I've got a project that I'm working on. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition or not. So that's what all those are. And then I've got a bunch of other shrubs and things like that. I picked up another Beyond Pink Caryopteris. Very excited about this one. I have one currently and I'm excited about it. I also picked up this. This has been a dream plant and it looks very, very sad right now. This is a dappled willow tree. So excited to have one of these. It's teeny tiny, absolutely puny. They're so hard to find and they're so expensive. So I'm really, really excited to get that growing in my garden. And then I picked this guy up also. This is a blackthorn, and it's supposed to get pretty tall, and it's got these very airy blooms on it. And I'm really excited to trial this one in my garden. So let's get to planting. Let me show you guys where these are all gonna go. So my goal with those is to create a little micro hedge right there, right behind me. I think that that's gonna be so perfect. Give me a little touch of formality in the garden while also still looking cottagey. So it's just going to frame off the corner of this bed. Let's go to get these planted. That's gonna be so good. I cannot wait. Oh man, I mean, I can totally wait, but it's got this like L shape to it almost. I mean, it is an L shape. So the plan is that it'll kind of like create this formal-ish border in this bed. My thought is it's gonna make it so the dogs or animals don't go straight across this way. They do have to go around. People don't feel inclined to cut the corner or anything like that. Not that it's happened, but I also think that it'll shape up really, really nicely. So with doing a hedge like this, these guys can get 3 feet wide. I'm not listening to that. They are about from center right here. They're probably, that's maybe 18 inches. Maybe it's like 15 inches. So they get about a foot wide, foot tall, up to 3 feet tall and wide. So I'm listening to the smallest measurements because my plan is to get them grow right up to the border. And then this border is where we're gonna shear. And then same thing on this side. This border is where we're gonna shear. And so then it'll create this nice, super dense hedge. I'll probably let it get tall, but I'm gonna keep it on the smaller side. So I'm gonna let it get about a foot in and then a foot out this way. So it'll get 2 feet instead of 3 feet. And then spacing is very close. So that way, as these guys all grow together, it looks like one uniform hedge. If I had spaced these each at 3 feet, then they would never really fully grow together, creating a full hedge. They would touch, but they wouldn't look uniform and full, which is, I'm going for uniform and full. And with these guys being a slow grower, that's exactly what you want to do. And with any type of hedge, my goal with these is to have them grow all together. And then on this side and on that one, let this come up and then create like a little cutout and then form up to the top. So it kind of gives it like a little, I don't know, formal like cutout in it. That way it's kind of topiary-ish. And then it'll create this like really pretty hedge right here. And then so you'll just kind of always see that. And then from this side, it'll go up here and it'll block that and it'll kind of create a little pocket of planting right in this area. It's just so exciting to get evergreen interest into the garden. I mean, now that all of these beds are done, I'm trying to not have analysis paralysis where I just don't plant anything because I get nervous that I'm going to make the wrong decision. And I always constantly try to remind myself they're plants. At the end of the day, they can be moved. I constantly moving things, or if I end up not liking it, I can take it out. And so I'm just going to get things planted. And if I don't love it, next year I'll take them out and it's not the end of the world. And so I'm just living my dream over here. I'm just gardening and making videos and not knowing what's happening. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get these Jack Frost Brunnera planted. And oh man, I love Brunnera. I mean, I love it. Let me show you guys the ones that we have in the garden. I've shown them to you guys a couple times. They're so beautiful and I cannot wait for next year when these look just like those ones. These are gonna be so, so pretty. So that right there is my Jack Frost Brunnera. And you'd be lying if you told me that wasn't a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. I mean, early blooms, spring blooms, the blue flowers on it, spectacular. And I can't wait to see how big this plant actually is going to get this year. The bloom spikes are kind of a lie because they're just bloom spikes and then those will all die back. And then you'll be left with just the silver foliage on these. So this bed by our basement door is where I'm going to plant these. So I'm going to plant all 3 of them right at the base of that basket that desperately needs some attention. It's not getting it today, but I'm going to plant all 3 of them just as a little trio right there. And that's going to lend to some very early interest color and then year-round color, well, most of the season color with the foliar growth. But before we do that, let me show you guys this. This basket is blooming. This is an epimedium, and I planted this guy maybe 5 years ago. Isn't that so cool? So this one's known as a bishop's hat, and I think they're so interesting. I love the leaves on these. These are very much a shade-loving plant, and the new leaves are very, very soft, but the older ones, you can kind of hear a difference, and then they fade out a little bit, but even these ones turn a little bit tough. These are last year's leaves. This is this year's growth, and they're really, really cool. And then they get these very early bloom spikes on them. And I need to come in and I need to clean out. I've got a begonia in here, and I think I've got something else that I grew right here that needs to come out. while they don't look very, I don't know, overwhelming at the moment and very underwhelming currently, they will be so beautiful next year. They're going to be absolutely stunning. I have this weird feeling that I planted a hosta somewhere in this vicinity, and that might be a problem, but I can't quite remember. I know I have 2 of them over on that side, but I have a sneaking suspicion that I planted one in front of the hydrangea. That might be too close. We'll see what happens, I guess. Anyways, those are beautiful. Let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing that we're going to do today is we're going to be finally transplanting this sweet spire. This one's called Scentlandia. I've had this one for probably 3 or 4 years at this point. It gets about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. I have it in a container, and I need the container for another shrub. So I will always have things in containers, but it's time for this one to move out into its forever home. It's going to go in the back bed back there, and it wants full to partial sun. It gets 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, and it's also growing zones 5 through 9, and it really needs a little bit more sun than it's getting in here. It's got beautiful fall color, and the smell in the springtime is fabulous. The bees absolutely love it, but I just need it moved. And so the plan today is to hack it in half, and then I'm going to root prune the thing because I don't think I want to dig a hole that's that big. I'm going to take it out of its container right there, and we'll just move it all the way to the back there, and we'll see if I end up digging a hole that big. Either way, it's probably going to need to be pruned just a little bit. think that's going to be quite happy there. We're going to hook it up to irrigation. We've got it nice and raised up, so it's nice and tall, so you can actually see it, which is good. And I don't know, I'm really happy with it. Brent's going to go ahead and hook it up to irrigation while I go ahead and get the sweet spire planted in the back now. we've got it planted in. I think it's gonna be quite happy right there. It's gonna get a lot of extra water from the fountain. This thing refills daily, and we've noticed that it pours out quite a bit of water. And so this plant right here, the sweet spire, it's kind of a funny one because it can handle bog conditions. So it can handle, if you have a really, really wet spot in your garden, it can also handle being not wet. So if it's really wet, what's going to happen is it's going to send up a whole bunch of new shoots, which is what all of these are right here. You can see like this one that's pink right here. So what it is its roots, and then it sends up all these little runners in it. And I mean, for me, it's no big deal. You just come in and you can pop them off, and it's also been contained to a container for the last couple years. So it's been getting a ton of water, and it's been very, very happy. And so it's been sending up a whole bunch of shoots. So I'm thinking that it will end up sending up some new runners, which really for me won't be that big of an issue. But if you don't want this thing to send up runners, less water, and also just anything that pops up, you can go ahead and cut them off as you think it's getting way too big or outgrowing its space. I had noticed originally in this container, there was one plant in the center that I had planted, and that plant actually was totally dead. So there was a whole branch in the middle, and that plant was dead. And the new plants, there's 3 of them in there that have come up, and those are from the runners from the original plant. So if you don't want runners on them, just pop them off or make sure it gets less water. But if you also have an area that is more bog prone, that holds on to a lot of water, this might be a really good plant for you. It's a really interesting plant. It's got beautiful fall color, beautiful summer blooms. The bees go crazy for it. The butterflies also love it. Ooh, chickens just got scared. I love this plant. I think it's definitely one that is underused in gardens. I think I have a couple more sitting in my side yard right now because I knew I wanted to add a couple more to them, just specifically because the fall color is so stunning. So I think this is where we're going to end the day. We've got the sweet spire planted. I got the Cole's Prostrate. It's a hemlock, and I got that from Isley. It's a 15-year-old plant. I don't even think I talked to you guys about it. I just potted it up. It's one that I'm a little bit nervous to keep alive. It's 15 years old. It's a very, very slow grower. I guess it's very hard to find them at that size, but I guess you can. And it's one that hemlocks just don't grow very well here because we're too hot. And so this one I'm growing in full shade, and I'm gonna make sure that it stays nice and wet and gets plenty of moisture. It doesn't really want to be sopping wet, but it also doesn't want to be dry. It's a really beautiful plant, and I love the weeping habit of it. I think it's gonna be so beautiful in our little seating area. And then we also got my little micro hedge started, which is exciting. And I feel like I did something else, but at this point I don't even remember what else we did. We planted Brunnera. Oh, it's been a day already. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go get dinner with my family. My mom's still in town, so I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for visiting our garden, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.